popularity of the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 showing no signs of ebbing anytime soon, in today's video we're going to offer some points new and potential owners should be aware of. If you've seen our previous installments on the Bodyguard 2.0, some of today's information may seem repetitive, but odds are good you're one of our newer viewers who recently purchased the Bodyguard 2.0 or are looking to do so soon. Allow me to be the first to welcome you to the club. Welcome. If you haven't picked up your firearm first, it's going to be an exciting day. You'll have a lot on your mind, so you might want to write some of this down to refer back to. First, take a deep breath and slow down. You're not in a rush. Today's a good day. Write all that down. Right, Frederick? You got to write all that down. Inspect the firearm, the one you are buying and leaving the store with. Some stores have display models. Before money changes hands, inspect the firearm they are selling you, not just the display model. Take your time. Are there any issues with the finish you can't live with? Are the sights present and do they look roughly in the correct spot? Are the sights the correct sights for the model you're buying? Inspect, inspect, inspect. Do the sights look fairly centered? No, you don't need to break out the bore sight. Just make sure they're not noticeably out of place. Comments on the internet make it seem like it is widespread for Bodyguard sights to be off, but in fact that's not the case. But you still don't want to be the one person commenting on Reddit about how your sights are off when you could have easily spotted it before money changed hands. Is the extractor present and accounted for? Ask to confirm, then do a basic function check. You don't have to go to town and try the trigger 100 times in the store, but do a function check of the firearm by articulating the slide of the firearm and confirming the trigger works. If you're getting a safety model, confirm you're familiar with how to operate the safety and that it's functional. Confirm what comes with the firearm is present. Does it come with 1, 2, or more magazines? Are the quantity and capacity correct? In free states, you should get one 12-round and one 10-round magazine. In restricted states, you may get one 10 or two 10-round magazines. Before you leave, make sure you get the correct amount and capacity magazine. Do empty magazines fully seat? Do they remain seated? Do they eject when the magazine release is used? Does the slide lock back on an empty magazine? Important note, while it looks movie cool, on a semi-automatic pistol, it is not a good idea to drop the slide on an empty chamber using the slide release or via slingshot. With the magazine removed, does the slide release disengage when you pull back the slide? Gently return the slide into battery once you have confirmed the slide release disengages as expected. Is the owner's manual present and accounted for? Let's segue to the ammo portion of the discussion now. To start, don't buy reloaded, remanufactured, or whatever else they might call it in your area ammunition. People are going to comment saying how they had great luck with reloads and blah, blah, blah. Don't fall for the trap. The price, no matter how cheap it sounds, is not worth it. .380 is even easier to accidentally double charge, triple charge, or worse compared to other calibers like 9mm. There's often much less wiggle room on things like powder charge for .380. The rest of the ammo discussion assumes you're already following the above statement. Being chambered in .380 ACP, you might not be spoiled for choice like 9mm, but if you found a store with a Bodyguard 2.0 in stock, odds are they probably have at least something. If you don't see anything on the shelf, make sure to ask what they're hiding in back, maybe next to the good yams. It is not uncommon for stores to keep some ammo in reserve for customers who purchase firearms so they have something to test their new firearm with. If you have a selection, get a healthy supply of range and defensive ammo. multiple boxes of each if your budget allows. You want to be able to shoot probably a couple hundred rounds to get the firearm broken in, and have a couple different ammo types in case your particular firearm isn't a fan of a particular ammo. As far as ammo to avoid besides reload, the only ammo I avoid is what I call gimmick ammo. Ammo that purports to do things like laser streak through the air or has grim dark names and equally dramatic looking projectiles. The old adage, if it's too good to be true, yep, applies to ammo just like everything else. Other than the gimmicky stuff, everything else is fair game. Flat point ammo, monolithic bullets, full metal jacket, hollow points. Pretty much everything else should work, especially after the break-in period. For range and practice ammo, I mostly shoot either CCI Blazer 95 grain or Winchester White Box 95 grain full metal jacket. The Blazer is a round nose projectile, while the Winchester White Box has the round nose flat point. We have hundreds and hundreds of each through the firearm with, 2 failures. Both seem to pattern in the same spot as my carry ammo. We don't have any problems with the Fiocchi Training Dynamics or Target Max ammo. Some people report problems with this ammo. Fiocchi range ammo seems to be on the lower pressure side compared to some other 380 ammo. Firearms that need breaking in might need more oomph than it has. If you're someone who's worried about the Fiocchi not working, I'd maybe have a backup ammo instead of just avoiding it. It's often the cheapest ammo in stock, and if it works in your firearm, no reason to avoid it. For carry ammo, I mostly shoot 2 common ammos found on local store shelves. Hornady 90 grain FTX, it's kind of like a ballistics tip, and SIG 90 grain V-Crown. But there are plenty of other excellent choices out there. Anybody who says things like 380 doesn't have enough expansion or penetration has done a poor job of keeping up on their 380 performance over the years. You'll see many comments over the inner tubes suggesting to use Underwood Extreme Defender or Penetrator ammo. I have not had good reliability with that ammo out of my Bodyguard 2.0 and many of my other 380s, but there are others who claim to have a different experience. Speaking of performance, aside from the rare instance of the sights on the firearm actually being off, you're most likely going to shoot the Bodyguard 2.0 a little to the left or a little to the right, depending on which hand you shoot with. The first time you shoot the Bodyguard 2.0 anyway. Don't worry, your sights are probably fine. Even with the advantages the Bodyguard 2.0 has, it is still an extremely narrow, challenging pistol to shoot where many people will naturally hold it in a manner that doesn't allow them a straight trigger pull. Some people are going to adjust their sights once, so they're maybe right on at 5 yards and never shoot it again. Others are going to work on the flaws in their technique so they can do things like hit targets out to 100 yards. Most, well, they're probably going to sit somewhere in the middle where they find a technique that works for them and groups that are happy for them. I know you, viewer, you're one of those rare smart ones in Group 3 who like today's presentation and have already shared it with their friends and family to help us grow the channel. Fred and I really appreciate your support and that you made it this far. That's probably the perfect spot to call it a day on today's video and for me and Fred to get off the couch and walk off all these Treatos before the sun goes down. Well, anyway, as always, have a good night.